Hi everybody, it's Anya, the adult doll and toy collector. Welcome back to the small plastic world. I have started the makeover process for the dolls that I thrifted in a recent haul. Probably want to watch it first, but I will give you a quick flashback. This is what she looked like when I initially thrifted her. And here she is after her spa day. Now, if you recall, I had no idea who this doll was when I thrifted her. She does have markings on the back of her neck. So based on that, I did a bunch of internet searching and I discovered that this is a doll made to represent Disney's Evil Queen from Snow White, made by a company called Bikin, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it correctly, but I'll just call it Bikin. And please, if you know, please correct me in the comments. This company produced many Snow White dolls, including a doll of each of the 7 dwarfs, Snow White, the Prince, the Evil Queen that we have here, and the Old Hag. They also kind of had a fairy tale series apparently, where they had Cinderella dolls and Sleeping Beauty dolls. There's no date on the boxes, but according to the little bit of research I did, I think these dolls were produced kind of in the late 80s or in the 90s. So roughly around that, and based on her body and everything, I'm guessing that that is probably the case. I will link a video in the description box that I found that deboxed this doll. So the doll would have been wearing, you know, kind of a hood over her hair and then a crown, and she had the dress like in the animated movie. Now, if you recall in the thrift haul video, I was not sure if this doll had had a haircut, and I am still on the fence about it. Although I do think her hair was short in the box just because she came wearing a hood, so there would have been no real need to have long hair on this doll. I washed it and conditioned it, and then as I was combing it out, it kind of just resolved into this kind of a quasi bubble cut style. So I decided to go with it. If you look in the side, you can see that the hair just kind of sticks out a little bit. And so I'm thinking she really did have a haircut at some point maybe. You know, this piece here looks a little longer, but I still don't think it was very long. Somebody just may have kind of cut at it or something, but I still think it looks nice in this kind of a bubble cut style, particularly from the front. This doll has painted green eyes and it's got this fantastic green eyeshadow. I absolutely love it. For some reason, it really reminds me of the character of Endora from Bewitched. Is that just me? Although just more like a little mischievous. I think Endora was a little more mean-spirited, and honestly, for being an evil queen, I just don't get that off this particular doll. Let me know what you think. Does she look like an evil queen, or maybe just like she's sort of had enough and she's fed up? She's got a nice red lip. Unfortunately, it does have like a ding in the paint. She has really fun arched eyebrows. Like, this doll is kind of over it, right? She has seen some things. Unfortunately, this brow is kind of almost coming off, so I had to be really careful with that. And she does have painted eyelashes. The doll does not have pierced ears. Being a doll of this era, she does have the standard articulation, although her head is on kind of a ball joint, so her head does rotate and turn. Her arms go back and forth. They do not come out to the side. She kind of has palms to rear style straight arms that do not bend. The doll does have a twist and turn waist, so it's slanted. She can bend at the hip to sit, and she has click knees that click very nicely still and hold a nice pose. Now, since she is the evil queen, and I don't have any kind of evil queen outfit, nor do I have the time or the skill to create one, I figured we would do something kind of evil queen adjacent in kind of a Disney bounding kind of a vibe, where you kind of dress reminiscent of a character rather than in a costume. And because the Evil Queen's main color seems to be purple, I immediately thought of this vintage clone dress that I got in a vintage Barbie case that I got at an antique mall many years ago, because it is purple with this really cool kind of floral motif that also brings in yellow and orange, which is really nice. It has a really nice kind of collar in the back, and it opens and closes with 2 metal snaps, and the pattern is nice all around. It is kind of a cheapish material, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me because I think it looks really nice on the doll. Here's the interior of the dress. It actually has a very nice little tag that says made in British Crown Colony of Hong Kong. Unfortunately, there is no year but I think just based on this wording, it's clearly a vintage item, but it's obviously not a Mattel item. The dress isn't correct for the doll's era because this is in, late 80s, early 90s kind of a doll, and this dress to me is more like early 60s, but I still think it works with her, kind of works as a contrast with her green eyeshadow. Because of her kind of a bubble cut hairstyle, I think she might hang out with my few kind of very early 1960s vintage Barbies in their diorama for a while at least. 90s Barbie shoes fit this doll, which is actually very nice. So I just added these little purple shoes to complete her look. So all in all, I'm very pleased with this fun doll, and I did learn something because I had not heard of the Bikin company. I had no idea that such dolls existed, and now I know a little more about them, and I hope you do too. And I just think she is a really fun addition to my collection. So what about you? Do you have any of these dolls, or do you have any Disney dolls of the Evil Queen that are maybe made by another company? Did Mattel make a Disney Evil Queen doll? I feel like they did. But anyway, let me know what you think of this doll, what you think of her dress, etc. And thank you so much for joining me to check out this doll and her thrift makeover. If you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you have, thank you very much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.